Hello community, today we're gonna talk about Project 007, IO Interactive's next game. And the reason I want to talk about it is, first things first, I saw a lot of people sort of being interested in the game and sort of wanting to know more. But even further than that, there are a lot of misconceptions, or at the very minimum, a lot of things that people are believing, but there's no real fact for why they're believing that that's gonna happen. So let me just explain. Basically, a lot of people are saying, oh, this game's gonna be fantastic, it's gonna be great, it's gonna be like an incredible, phenomenal game, because Hitman 3 was a very good game, and so therefore, this game should be pretty good as well. Now, I'm not gonna break people's spirits or anything, but I just want to mention two major, I don't want to say issues, but things that I'm worried about at least when it comes to this particular title. And issue number one actually is IO's history. Because you see, yes, IO has always been good, well, not always, but for the most part has been pretty good at creating Hitman games. They started with Codename 47, which was, decent at the time. It was good enough to then have a sequel in Hitman Silent Assassin, Hitman 2 Silent Assassin technically. But anyways, they had those two games, and of course Hitman 2 Silent Assassin was definitely a big improvement. From there they went into Hitman Contracts, which was a little bit controversial. And here's why Contracts is controversial. Basically, for those of you who weren't around back then, and I'm pretty sure most of you weren't, because looking at the audience for my YouTube videos, most of you are somewhere between your early to mid-20s. But basically what happened was, Hitman Contracts was their Arkham Origins, if you've played the Arkham series. It was a game that was sort of in between. It took a lot of elements from the previous game in terms of graphics, in terms of gameplay. It was basically Hitman 2 Silent Assassin 2.0. It was like another version. It sort of took a lot of the original levels and it remade them, but also added a few unique ones of its own with some minor improvements here and there. It was, in my opinion, I think now it's a great game. Looking back, I think a lot of people love Hitman Contracts, but at the time, there was some controversy about that because people felt it was a bit of a cash grab. In reality, it was just something for players to play while they were making blood money. Now, at the same time, they were also making a game called Freedom Fighters. I don't know much about the game, but it's a cult classic from what I've seen. People seem to go crazy about it. They're very nostalgic about it. So this is a game they've actually done well. I mean, there's no doubt about that. Then, of course, finally, they had Blood Money, which was absolutely just blew everyone out of the water. It was them really understanding how to make a great Hitman game and delivering 100% on that understanding. However, from there, they had quite a lot of misfires. First of all, they had Kane and Lynch 1 and 2, which were abysmal, both of them. The story was ridiculous. They had the whole game basically, you just go around shooting everything that moves. I mean, literally, that's all there is to it. You have a weapon in your hands and you're just going around shooting everything that moves. It's a kill everyone challenge, just non-stop with cutscenes in between. There's no reload button, there's no cover button. It gives you motion sickness. Actually, when you run around, it's insane. The camera is shaking like it's fucking Nicki Minaj's ass. It's insane. It is genuinely incredible to witness. But yeah, those titles were absolutely horrendous. And then they went into Hitman Absolution, which that title was a little bit misguided, to say the fucking least. It wasn't a bad game, but it was misguided for sure. And then they did, of course, Hitman 1 in 2016, technically Hitman 2016, Hitman 2, and then Hitman 3, and here we are. And yeah, they're good at sort of finding what works and what doesn't, and then slowly, slow and steady, creating that perfect game by just, keeping that trial and error and just improving a little bit here, a little bit there, and eventually getting to the point where it's pretty good. However, when it comes to being able to knock something out of the park on their very first try, they're not the guys to do it. They really aren't. They're not the Rocksteady who did Batman Arkham Asylum. They are the Rocksteady who did fucking Suicide Squad. Because that game's fucking atrocious. But anyways, enough about that fucking piece of shit. Let's move on. So they're not the best when it comes to invention. Let's just say that. When it comes to brand new, never seen before, never done before, that's never been them. They're good at taking things that they already sort of know how to do and improving on them and making them better and better as time goes along. Now that's great, but when it comes to James Bond, it has nothing to do with Hitman games. A lot of people think, okay, the stealth in Hitman is going to be similar to James Bond. And okay, sure, the stealth may be somewhat similar, but a James Bond game is so much more than that. You have to introduce driving, you have to introduce car chases, maybe even boat chases. You have to introduce rifle combat, being able to do shootouts and things like that. You have to make a beautiful cinematic story. Like, you can't use the cheap-ass cutscenes of Hitman 3 or even worse, Hitman 2. You have to actually invest in beautiful, good-looking cutscenes that are able to fit the standard of modern gaming. All of those things, they need to be done if this game is gonna be successful. And if it's not, then what's the point of making it? And I think they know that. Now, IO Interactive is an independent studio, meaning that if shit hits the fan, they ain't got anybody to save their ass. And here comes problem number 2, and that's that they're bleeding themselves out. And here's what I mean by that. They're splitting themselves into multiple projects. And by the way, I don't know if you know this, Clemens, the guy who used to do the 7 Deadly Sins, their community guy, basically their manager, he's gone. He's fucking, I don't know if he's been fired or he just left on his own volition, but he's gone. He's working for another studio now, Rogue Gaming or something. So they've lost him, I'm sure they've lost some other guys. And now they're also doing a fantasy RPG game. At the same time, they're doing Project 007. So they're literally, their independent small studio as is being split up, and they're doing different projects at the same time from scratch, from nothing. This is not like, oh, we're gonna take the Hitman game and we're gonna reinvent some things, or we're gonna just make things better. No, you're going from ground zero, from scratch damn near, on a game like 007, and they're still looking for stuff. I mean, there's still job entries and things like that about different people they need in the project. I don't understand this. I mean, this is an independent studio. They don't have that much money behind them. This isn't Rockstar Games. This isn't Ubisoft. They can't just sit there and wait for years and years and years to make this game. Like, they have to be effective. The fact that they're still getting new people and searching for people, that they don't even have their shit together fully yet, I mean, that's not a great fucking showcase. On top of that, going even further, when it comes to a release date, some people are saying that maybe 2025 is looking somewhat promising. I hate to break it to you, but if GTA 6 comes out anywhere near the middle of 2025, there's not gonna be any games releasing near it. Why would you? I mean, it's like a giant white shark appearing in the ocean. You're not gonna go, oh, I'm gonna go swim right next to it. GTA 6 is gonna be huge. It's gonna blow everything out of the water. It's gonna blow gaming out of the water. So if you are IO Interactive and you're looking at a very, very similar release schedule as Rockstar, that is a very big problem you have. Do you delay it to try to make it better, or do you rush it to try to sort of get the people's money before it comes out, before the huge expectations are there? There's a lot of things to think about. And again, because they're bleeding their studios in multiple different projects, that is another big problem. They have a very limited time with a very limited budget to reinvent something from scratch, to create some original thing and make it good on the very first time. They have to succeed from their very first try. They can't fuck up like they did with Absolution. They can't fuck up like they did with Hitman 2016. And yeah, Hitman 2016 had a ton of fuck-ups, even besides the episodic releases. Bangkok, Marrakesh, Colorado, I mean, a bunch of maps unfinished, just half done, halfway there, halfway nowhere. It was a mess, 2016. So many bad choices when it comes to design making. That game is far from perfect. It's far from even great, if I gotta be honest. Hitman 2 is really where, in my opinion, Hitman was shaped as a very strong entry. But when it comes to this game, they're very, very limited. And that kind of worries me. And these are the main things that worry me, really. Are they gonna rush this like they have done with some things in the past? Are they gonna try to just get it out there to just get some funding and then try to fix it and build it later, as so many other developers are doing all the time. The same reason why we're always getting unfinished games, because people, they have a certain time limit and a certain budget limit, and once it runs out, well, there's only so much you can do. And with gaming especially, there's so many things you have to take into consideration that are impossible to be taken into consideration, because things are changing all the time. You never really know ultimately how things are gonna end up. But yeah, I mean, I hate to break it to people who think this game is going to be a masterpiece, that it's going to be an incredible game. I'm sorry, but there's no evidence of that. Zero evidence so far. I'm not saying it won't be. I would be more than happy if it is. I mean, I enjoy IO Interactive. I think they make good games. They make games that are there's no political involvement. They're Europeans like myself. They don't care about that shit. They're more interested in good stories. There's not a ton of horrendous microtransactions or some types of bullshit nonsense going on with season passes and things like that. For the most part, they're a pretty decent, good gaming developer, but they do have it against them this time around, and it's going to be very interesting to see if they're able to pull it off. That's what I have in mind. I don't know if you guys would be interested in even playing Project 007. I certainly will be interested in taking a look and seeing what's going on. Again, timing will be crucial when it comes to it. But yeah, I mean, this is more or less what I have to say about this video game. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. I'd love to hear your guys' opinions. These are just some of my worries and what I sort of think about when it comes to this game. You can let me know yours in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching. I will make some Hitman content soon enough. I want to get fully healed and really get my mind, able to work at 100%, and you will get that as well. So yeah, until next time, see you guys later.